All of us are here now as a result of millions of mutations that have taken place in our DNA since the earliest days of life on Earth. New forms of genes result from changes in existing genes, and these changes are the mutations. They are often tiny changes in the sequence of bases in a strand of DNA. Mutations occur all the time, often as a result of a mistake made in copying the DNA for new cells as they reproduce. So instead of an adenine base pair, for example, maybe a cytosine base pair is put. This introduces a change in the sequence, which is what we call a mutation. When mutations take place in the coding DNA, so inside the sequence of a gene, most do not alter the protein formed, or they can alter it so slightly that its appearance and function are not changed. So most mutations that take place in the sequences of genes will not really affect the phenotype that much. However, a few of these mutations can code for a change in the amino acids that is enough to result in an entirely altered protein. It will fold into a different shape. So as a result, if this is an enzyme, for example, the active site of the enzyme, where the catalysis of the chemical reaction actually happens, where the substrate binds, it may no longer fit the substrate. So it will no longer affect that chemical reaction. Or if it's a structural protein, if it's not an enzyme, it may lose its strength. So for example, if it's a structural protein in the hair, the person might have weak hair that breaks off easily. On the other hand, these changes caused by a mutation may give an advantage. It doesn't always have to be a disadvantage. So the enzyme doesn't have to lose its active site. It may even have a more efficient active site that binds even better to the substrate. What's key here is that mutations are changes. They don't have to be disadvantages. They can be changes that cause absolutely no difference in the phenotype. They can be disadvantageous and they can be advantageous. So this diagram can help us understand the idea of mutations. For example, let's say this is a gene that codes for an enzyme. It's going to code for an enzyme with a normal active site where the substrate can bind. Here we can see that the active site is physically complementary to the substrate, to the triangular shape of the substrate. Now, if the gene has a mutation, if it causes a change to, let's say, cause the active site to be square-shaped now instead of triangular-shaped, the substrate that is triangular-shaped will no longer fit. However, maybe another substrate that's square or rectangle-shaped can now fit. So this mutation causes the enzyme not to work on the substrate it's supposed to work on, and to work on a substrate that it normally doesn't work on. Now, whether this is advantageous or disadvantageous depends on a lot of things. This mutation could have also caused absolutely no change. Like this case here, the mutation happened in a different site than the active site. The active site is still complementary to the substrate, it's still triangular. We see the changes are in different sites in the enzyme, so it did not affect the function of the enzyme of binding to the substrate. And here in the middle, we see the active site changed. It became a lot narrower and did not fit the substrate any longer. It doesn't have to fit another substrate. Just because it doesn't fit this substrate and it changed in shape doesn't mean the active site will fit another substrate. It could completely just lose its function. So a lot of changes can happen from a mutation. And that is why we need to keep an open mind and do more research and investigate deeper in order to identify the results of a certain mutation.